Welcome back, everybody, and as you can see, I have been a little bit busy, and I've just delivered 190 or 200 liberal federal packages, try saying that 5 times fast, here to Kreplin City over in 18 Puppets, which is like all of a jump away from the capital of Rhea, at least for Felicia Winters. And thought I would go ahead and give you guys kind of a little primer, since everything is actually changing so quickly with the beta. It's rather inefficient and basically a waste of time for me to be making a bunch of videos right now. So videos will be few and far between in regards to Powerplay, but I'll try to at least get a basis of kind of what to expect. As you can see, I have earned 190 today, 80. I did 100 yesterday, but I only got 81 merits out of it. So there is going to be a bit of degradation, but that's also because I think it's about 24 hours or 48 hours covers 2 weeks with the acceleration in the beta. So it's a little harder to get everything unless you just oversaturate with the work. But basically what I have to do with Felicia Winters is in regards to her ethos. It is preparation, expansion, and control, as we've talked about before. And with her, that essentially means that when I need to prepare a system, let's go ahead and go back to the menu here. When I need to prepare a system, I need to deliver these allotments of educating the masses, and that will essentially get the system ready for expansion, which then means that I take control by delivering liberal federal aid, which is essentially telling the system, hey, we're here for you guys, we're here to help, and if you guys come to our side, we're gonna take care of you. So essentially, you can pay to win. I'm not sure if the price is reduced because this is beta. If it is, that's probably going to be much higher in the end when it's released fully to the server. But you can buy your way into buying more allotments. Now, the allotments that you have available to you will change based on your rank. So essentially, right now, I only have 10 because I am only considered rank 1. Where's my rating? Here we go. So I only have 10 power commodity allocation every half hour. So I would have to, in order to fill up the 200 tons in my Anaconda right now, I would have to wait quite a long time to get fully loaded. So you do get a little more as you continue ranking up. You get twice as much as rank 1 when you're at rank 3, as well as access to your factional weapon, of course. And they did come back and talk about how the modules are supposed to work, how they were hoping for them to be implemented was not to be OP, and I'm doing these hand gestures you guys can't see as I talk with my hands, so I'll try to make it interesting on the screen instead. But essentially, they want these to be, or down here rather, they want the faction modules to be just different flavor. They're going to have, I mean, with a pulse disruptor, essentially what I think it will end up being is it's a regular pulse weapon that happens to have an extra ability to cause module malfunction. And that's actually what I'm working on getting so that I can test it out and kind of see the effects of it in practice. And you have to be in the top 50%. They did say that they're changing the availability of the modules, and they're thinking about doing it so that when the cycle ends, whichever faction rather, is the top faction. By that I mean they have the most contribution per average player in their faction, will have the module available to, I believe, all lower ranks, and the second highest faction will have it available to their rating 2 as well as their rating 3. So it kind of opens up the lock. That doesn't really fix the issue, but they also said the modules will have drawbacks. So perhaps that pulse disruptor will fit with more power draw, or it'll take more capacitor to use in the first place. Who knows? We haven't been able to test this. That is something that's also slightly confusing / annoying. I understand getting to test the systems and everything, and they've accelerated it, but if you really want people to test this, honestly, stop locking it. just give us the module so we can test it from the get-go and really let you know if this is OP or not. Otherwise, you're going to have people that just have to grind it out. Despite, I mean, even with the acceleration, it's still, you have to grind it out and then do that for every faction. So depending on how long this beta actually runs, then you may or may not be able to test all of the weapons and give accurate feedback to the developers. So we're going ahead and trying to push our way through the different systems, and so I'm going to go ahead and collect liberal propaganda, and we'll go ahead and prepare a system. Actually, tell you what, the easiest way to kind of determine what you should be doing or what you want to do if you want to keep things relatively close by is using the tabs to the best. I mean, this is what they're created for. You can see what the closest system is as far as I don't want to go that far for preparing a system. Let's see if there's anything ready for expansion nearby. So it's going to be kind of equal. That's unfortunate. What's this? What's the nearest one? It's probably going to be expansion. So we're going to go to Helios, and essentially our expansion task is to collect that liberal federal aid and push the system into an expansion for our faction. And the opposition can counteract you. If they bring their own, whatever their ethos is for expansion or for control, then they can push that back on, and that means that we will have to work even harder, and it's kind of, you know, give and take there. So let's go ahead and hop out of here, hop back over to here. Power contact. Alright, so we want to expand. Liberal federal aid. Now, the annoying thing right now is that you can't just... There you go. You do have to continually just do this. And honestly, if you're going to allow for that, perhaps make it a little more annoying, so that people get discouraged from doing this constantly. But if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyways. So honestly, make the tool a little easier so that I get it. I can only get 10 at a time. But make it so that I get 10 at a time, and then past my initial allotment, every 10 that I take after that will charge me that 100,000 for. So essentially, if I went and got to 200 out of 200, it would have a total price tag down here for what that would cost total. And I could decide, oh, maybe I'll drop it back 10, maybe I'll, you know, make it, just have it jump in 10 increments, or rather just the increments that your that you have available for your commodity per hour. But again, maybe this is a, you know, besides the ISK sync, I'm stuck in Eve, the credit sync, perhaps besides the credit sync, the time sync of just having to do this gets kind of annoying. But honestly, for the people that are already loaded, they don't care one way or the other. They obviously have the time to grind and the time to do this. So, tell you what, I will go ahead and collect all of this for you guys, and then we will meet back up in Helios, and I'll kind of show you all of this all over again. Show you handing it in and everything, and then hopefully tomorrow I will be able to jump right into rank 3, maybe? Question mark? Not sure. Because I have to be in the top 50%, and I'm not sure how many other people are actually working in the beta on Felicia Winters. It seems like Hudson is the go-to man, because he's simple. He's combat, combat, combat. And honestly, I can see why people are going to flock to him if they are federal when this releases. And that's going to be the same for Imperial as well. But honestly, if the weapons are powerful enough, you're still going to have issues with musical factions, essentially. Although there is a thing that the longer you're with, I mean, I kind of went over it with the overview video, but essentially, the longer you're with your power, the longer you're going to be without a power if you defect. So essentially, if I leave this power right now, it's my rating net, I would only have to deal with a cooldown for a day, and I would be hunted for a day by this faction. They would spawn NPCs to come hunt me down. Now, if I decided to stay for, the 4 weeks, there's a 4-week cooldown, and I get hunted for 4 weeks. So you're essentially a loner that gets hunted down constantly. So you're kind of screwed, and that's good. Honestly, that is a good, and I feel that is an appropriate response to defection. You shouldn't be able to just kind of hop between powers, getting modules. And I'm still not sure how I feel about being able to keep the module when you leave, when you defect. Somebody did on Reddit mention, maybe there's firmware that, RP-wise, there's firmware that when you leave when you defect, it takes your authorization to use that module, and you essentially have a dead module sitting on your ship, rather than the idea of somebody coming on your ship and just stealing the whole module itself. And so when you log in after you defect and your module's just missing. So there's a lot of different speculation and all sorts of positing going on with everything right now. Things are in constant flux with the beta, so what you see may change very, very quickly, and it may be irrelevant in the coming weeks. So I will try to make sure that I am getting you guys relevant information. And this is the kind of information I don't think will change all that much. This seems to be what they want in the game. A lot of the big gripes has also been that having this kind of competition inside of factions means that you're essentially fighting your own faction members. Okay, I suck at using the anacondas because I'm not used to a ship this big. But basically, creating competition within the faction means that you're fighting your own faction rather than trying to actually, further your faction's goals. Or rather, furthering your faction's goals is secondary or just incidental to what you're actually doing. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how things play out, and if they change that at all. I mean, with the relaxing on, or the potential relaxing on faction modules, maybe that'll create enough leeway that people are like, oh, okay, it's not, dealing with your own people is not that bad now because people aren't going just for the modules. But there is also an issue of not being able to contribute. Wow. I've been hanging out with Euros and Aussies for a long time, so now my vocabulary is shifting a little bit. But anyways, so the idea would be fix it so that there's hard goals that you can work towards, because there's a lot of casual players that will kind of get screwed because they can't get into the top 50%, or much less the top 10, which is rank 5. Speaking of which, top 10, there's only 2 when there's 20 powers after all of the powers have been released, that's 200 people only that have top dog position. You gotta be kidding me. And while I understand restricting it to the people that are going to be dedicated, and yeah, the rich will get richer and that kind of a thing, it just feels like perhaps you should shift it to the bottom few tiers are going to be, for example, if you're a combat, you kill 200 of opposing faction members and you get up to rank 2 or 3, and then you can get the module. But after that, it shifts into then the top dogs can duke it out for their position, so that the competition is mainly for those who are hardcore about pushing the faction or pushing for their own gain. And that will leave it so that there's room for both casuals and hardcore people that have all the time in the world to grind. Otherwise, it just makes it a grind for everybody. And it resets weekly. And that is essentially a gussied up community goal. That's essentially what factions seem to be looking like. They are community goals, just longer term. And people seem to have an issue with that. So just things to think about, and like I said, like 5 minutes ago, I will see you guys over in Helios. We'll finish this discussion. Alright, we're here. Let's go ahead and turn in our stuff. And I'll show you kind of why I wish that the ability to pay for a total pickup existed, because you can deliver everything all at once anyway, so. Oh dear. Whee! Confirm. Ta-da! Look at that, 470 merits. Now, obviously, that's a little ridiculous, because if I'm correct, combat-related ethos, you get 1 merit per kill, and with this you get 1 merit per ton given. That seems heavily favored over to the haulers, so I'm gonna have to test that out a little bit more. But if that's true, then combat obviously will be rewarding, but not in the way that you're hoping. Maybe credit-wise, but there you have it. So that's a little bit of how to basically do fetch quests for your galactic powers, and to further your personal, not only rating, but your influence and whatnot. With Felicia here, we get positive influence as our bonus, rather than something like trade or bounty increases. So it's going to be interesting to see how the players kind of react to the available powers, and then those that can come up later on. You can kill a faction, so, you know, seeing the political landscape eventually might not see some of these guys stick around for too long, especially the ones with less space already claimed. So will be very, very interesting to see, and I hope you guys plug in too. I hope, you know, I know there's been a lot of complaints for, you know, how Powerplay is being implemented, but there's a lot of good stuff that's being put in as well, and I really, really want to show you the combat especially. That has been kicked up a notch to a great degree, and I love it, and I just want to make sure that I can kind of show you guys exactly what I mean before I put out a video for it. But anyways, hope you guys found this educational and helpful, and understanding the upcoming Powerplay mechanics and the overall gist of it. This probably will be explained a little bit more later on. The help document that I will link again in this video is extremely useful for understanding things. In some ways, I feel like they kind of made it a little more complicated than it should have been, but that's just one man's opinion. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to stick that like and subscribe in as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy in the time until you can get into this as well. Just enjoy the game. I know there's a lot of things that feel like they should be in already, but your time shall come, my friends. Your time shall come. Cheers, and fly dangerous.
You've got some blood on you.